When you live in a small town, everyone knows where you've been and what you have done. I've been trying to leave this old town since I...
Welcome back. Thanks for joining us. I'm Zeta.
And I'm Kelly. And you're listening to
Two Sides and the Truth.
All right, so this week we're going to shake things up a little bit. We're just going to jump right into what is on everybody's plate this week, and that is Thanksgiving. So Thanksgiving plans is the first thing we're going to talk about. So what are you doing for Thanksgiving, Zeta?
I am packing up all my family, all my children, and we are going to my dad's house in Saxe. So about an hour drive and hour and a half, depending on traffic. And
traffic.
Yes, and we have my older son, Zane, his girlfriend is going to join us. They have to fit two families in. You know, they're at that stage in life. Mm-hmm. And but they're going to join us. And my daughter's boyfriend, he has his own family thing. It's just too far different. So Zoe will just be coming by herself and Zoe by himself. But a twist in things, Zaylee is coming, and I have invited her boyfriend.
Ooh, really?
Yes, I have.
Wow.
Yes, I did.
Dun, dun, dun.
Which
this
listeners,
is going to be interesting.
But listeners have no clue why, because we've not discussed it at all. But we had a little bit of a bad start to meeting.
Yeah, a little bit.
And so we had to work through this for the last, 6 months, 7 months, or 6 months. And I just thought that it's time to,
You're
move
giving
forward.
an olive branch.
I am. It's like Thanksgiving.
You really
the Pilgrims
are.
and the Indians were coming together. And it made Zaylee very, very happy. And he said yes. And the fact that he is willing to come into the Lion's Den says a lot.
Yeah.
I thought that was really cool that he did say yes to this, because I'm a little intimidating, and he didn't know if Rick was going to be there. So Rick is also intimidating. Rick and then Rick surprised me, and I didn't actually even invite Rick. I mean, I guess it's an open invitation, obviously, but I didn't even really invite him, which sounds weird because I talked just recently about new traditions, and we're going to start them together. But we were going to start them in our home, and that's very central. So if he wanted to pop over to his older grandparents' house, he could, and still have his, see them, and that's important. But because of my dad's leg issue, we have to go to him, and I didn't want to make him feel bad. Like, that's his grandparents and his daughter's traditions, and so I don't want to step on that. So, but he was like, no, I'm coming. What are you talking about? I'm coming to both. I'm going to do mine first. He goes, what time are you doing yours? We do it at lunchtime. I said, well, if you do it at lunchtime, I'll do mine at 3 to 4 so that you can do both. Yeah. And then Zaylee's boyfriend, her, are going to come, and then they're going to leave there and go to his parents' house, which to do a dinner.
Nice.
And so, we're going to, and that's the only people. There's no aunts, uncles, none of my siblings. It is just me, my dad, and my children, and their significant other, and my significant other. And I don't know if Madison will make it, because she's actually getting her wisdom teeth removed about right this moment, which is Monday. And I know.
R.I.P. Madison. I'm so sorry.
Thanksgiving week.
She is a glutton for punishment. I'm like, who is her dentist?
I said, why would you do this to yourself? What is wrong with you?
You know what? I bet that was an easier time to get in because nobody wants to do it.
I think so too. So hopefully she can eat like the sweet potatoes and the mashed potatoes. I don't know. They said by Thursday she should be able to eat like soft food. So I don't know that she's going to fill up to 2 Thanksgivings, especially because my dad's is a drive. It's a hike. We'll go into more what the plans are, but that's the geography of it.
Geography. I like it.
And the guest list, if that makes sense.
Yes. I like that breakdown. That it's a digestible bit of information.
But I do want to go back into this conversation and talk more about Thanksgiving stuff. But I want to hear what's your geography? What's your guest list?
All right, so my geography is I'm going to be going out to the farm, and the farm is my Aunt Jessica, who is one of my 4 aunts. Wait, is there 4? There's 4 sisters altogether, so I have 3 aunts and 1 mother. Yeah,
okay, we get that adds up.
Right? Does it? I was trying on my fingers. But
what powerful women, too. I just have to say, it's a good
Some
group.
of my favorite people. So my Aunt Jessica, she lives in, where does she live? Why? See, anytime I try to think
Greenville, outside of Greenville.
So.
I just had it the other day in the tip of my tongue, too.
Oh, wait, I know. Bonham. She lives in Bonham, Texas. Okay, so it takes from Frost, it takes me about over 2 hours. So probably like 2.5 hours,
It's almost like going to San Saba.
It's a trek. That's a hard thing for me to do physically because spending so much time in a vehicle, it really messes with me mentally. So I can do it, and I've gotten better at doing it, especially because I've been on McKenna watch for the past couple of weeks, and so I have been making that trip, and so that's where we're going to be geographically. And the guest list is like my whole side of my mom's family. Like, they're really good. Both of my families are really good about everybody getting together. They get together for birthdays and stuff, whoever can make it, but like everybody's invited.
I always love the fact that y'all do that because you're
Christmas,
always doing it.
Thanksgiving, and then we usually sometime of the year, we either have like a family getaway, like a family vacation, or it'll just be like a family reunion type of thing, like low key. So
now, how many of your family have to split y'all with somebody else? Because you're pretty remote out there.
A lot.
So that's hard to split.
Yeah, everybody has their own family Christmases too, because like all my cousins, like almost all of them are all, like the older ones are all married. So everybody is doing the split thing. So we usually have family Thanksgiving and family Christmases are like the week before. So like you can actually be with your family on the actual day.
Oh, that's a good way to do it. Or if you choose to do it with the other side of your family, you have it available, but you could also just be home.
Yeah, just in case you didn't have somewhere to go, the family's doing something.
Okay.
So you're either at your family or you're at the big family thing.
Right.
This is, but they usually do Thanksgiving. This is like the third year, fourth year in a row. We have it at my Aunt Jessica's because it's the farm. There's just like a lot of room and it's a bigger house. And so we usually do have that because we have a big family.
Yeah.
Like I have all of the cousins. I have like 13 adopted cousins. I have like eight. I have 8 cousins that are like, from the family, cousins not adopted. So like it's a big family. Everybody has kids.
Right. A lot of kids.
My cousins have kids. Like everybody got babies. Okay, everybody. And then on top of that, everyone has animals too, and they like to bring all of my family have animal babies too. Oh. So and they like to bring them to everything. So that's why I like that it's at the farm because all the animals
you can sit them
they're
outside
playing, and we're outside, and they just had a renovation. What is it? Renovation. That's the word of their house, and so they have a really big outdoor porch, and they have a hot tub. But they just added on a indoor porch, like screened in porch, and a big living dining area, and has upstairs they made new bedrooms for McKenna and Sophie. So it's awesome. Looks awesome.
Yeah.
So we're gonna have a lot of room.
Yeah.
And we need a lot of room because everybody's invited.
Yeah. And it's so crazy because I grew up with Thanksgivings like that, and it is now down to just me, my dad, and my kid. Now, granted, I made a lot of children. And they now have significant others. Eventually, there'll be little grandchildren. For now, there's not. But it's crazy how things change over the years because I am at the point where, and I could go to San Saba and spend it with family in San Saba and have that big thing. But it's a lot easier to stay home. And my dad doesn't really have anybody else. I'm not going to leave him, So, and even before that, when I have always tried to spend it with my dad. Out of all my parents, and I have a lot of them if you pay attention, and my ex-in-laws, my dad was my primary Thanksgiving partner family most of my adult life, whereas I never spent them as a child with them.
Yeah.
So I kind of think that's why I like to spend it with them as an adult.
Yeah.
But also my stepmom was really good about making traditions and making memories and and really, she liked my kids the most. Out of all their grandparents, I hate to say that, but my stepmom liked my kids. She understood them. She was bonded with them. And so they wanted to be with her because she was going to make it special and she was going to do special things. And so, this whole week has had me in the feels in regards to that because when I think of Thanksgiving, I think of my stepmom. I don't think of my mom, and I spent all my childhood ones with my mom, but it was ever changing depending on who she was married to. Yeah. Now, primarily, she was married to my sister's dad, and so I have a ton of memories with them and his parents, but they're not really my family anymore. That's my ex family. He had been my stepdad since I was 16. So it'd be weird for me to show up at theirs. I mean, I would be invited, but it would be, to me, it's not my family anymore. And he remarried, and that's his family. I'm freaking 49 now. It's been a long time. So I kind of had to make new traditions. They got divorced when I was 16. Obviously, at that point, I'm not spending Thanksgiving with them, and I started spending it with my in-laws and my ex-husband, or my parents, depending on if we lived in Houston or if we lived in Dallas. But when I got divorced, I moved home, and it was right back like it had never changed when I lived in Dallas, and right back to my dad and my stepmom. So I've talked about this before about DJ's house, my grandfather's house, how when I clean it and I maintain it and I cook in it and I love the house, I feel like I'm honoring DJ. Mm-hmm. When I do this at my dad's house and do things like this at my dad's house, I feel like I'm honoring Cindy, my stepmom. Yeah. And it's I assume other people get feelings like this. Yeah. You're in a different boat in life right now, so maybe not. But I'm sure
I'm in a very different boat.
You are, but I'm sure there's things
we're
that
going
you do.
Down the same river, girl.
Yeah, we are. Well, and also, depending on where you are in life and how things change in life, you're just you're a different person at the same party right now. Yeah. So I'm mom right now. Yeah. And
you have a different position.
I'm the head woman right now. I'm the oldest in the family. That's crazy. On my dad's side of the family, I am the oldest woman.
So you definitely have that role.
Yes. And even if you counted in all my cousins and their significant others and my uncle, I'm the oldest woman of all of them, the whole bunch that's left. And so, yeah.
And you have kids, and so you run your household, and so you have that.
Yes, that's my role now.
That managerial role in the family.
And I'm the cook.
I still have the baby role in the family.
You do. That's what I think is awesome, is that you just have a different role.
And some people hate me for it because I can just show up. I can just show up.
You bring the drinks, don't you?
I do. I stir the pot and then I leave. But that's my thing. I just have to show up. I'm not even expected to do anything. I'm not expected to bring anything. I don't have any kids. I don't need any help. I'm usually the one that helps with the kids, because they follow me around.
Well, that's your role. That's what you bring to the table.
But I'm very much but I'll be like, no, I ain't in charge. I'm still the baby. Like, what? Yeah. And it's kind of weird that I'm considered an adult now, because I'm like, I can be in charge of things. And I'm like, that is the wrong move.
I mean, you're only in your mid-30s.
How can I be in charge of things when I'm holding the bottle of champagne that I'm swigging out of? Like, that's probably not the best picture.
You're the fun aunt. You're the fun aunt.
I'm giving the kids swigs when nobody's looking.
Yeah. Well, too fun aunt is what we called it. I just saw a TikTok today where someone was talking about their mom's best friend, and that everybody needed a friend like this, their mom to have a friend like this. She was like the wild friend that dresses crazy and shows up on a random Tuesday and parks in your front yard and gets out and gives me a T-shirt that's completely inappropriate. This is the kid talking as an adult. And she would tell everybody in the room, and she said she had really pretty sisters and that she didn't look anything like them, and she was always made to feel like she wasn't as pretty as them, even without words. No one said it, but that's how they made her feel. And that this woman came in and made sure she would openly, like, this is the prettiest person in this room. Like, just advocated for her in her quirkiest, weirdest, fun aunt way. Mm-hmm. Like, you get to be the person that leaves that memory. Yeah. And so it's still back to a tradition and a memory and a feeling that someone. So your nieces and nephews and younger siblings are going to be like, that's Kelly. Let me tell you about Kelly. Mm-hmm. Because you have somebody in your family that I'm like, that's Aunt so-and-so, or that's cousin. Let me tell you about them. Mm-hmm. And what a great spot to be in.
It's pretty nice. I don't think
you don't want out of that spot.
They ask me all the time, like, especially the kids too, because some of them have gotten old enough to where they're just like, they're really taking in everything. They're like seeing how life goes. They're really developing good questions and making connections. And so they'll be like, are you ever going to have kids? Or because everybody
going on here,
everybody
Aunt Kelly?
Has kids. My younger cousins that were the youngest cousins,
they have kids.
They have kids now. They both do. And they're like, are you ever going to have kids? I'm like, absolutely not.
No
way.
Like,
why? I'm like, because you can choose not to.
Yeah.
like that's a choice. If you want to have kids and you love kids, which I do love kids.
Yeah.
And you want to have your little mini me me and you want to like raise it and do all the things, you can do that. But if you don't want to, you don't have to.
Right.
And I never wanted to actually I didn't want to birth a child, didn't want to have the responsibility of taking care of it. I take care of myself, and that's about all I can do.
Right.
And so, but that's okay. That's an option. And it's just like their minds, like you just can see when they're like, really?
You're so much like my sister India, because you are my sister. That's her part in the family, and she's 41. And she was here this weekend with me, and we were going through Dad's pictures and just, working on things in the house. And, the cleaning part is over. We're really just having fun at this point and decorating and, really sorting through pictures at this point. And we're looking through them, and we found this picture of my dad and stepmom and India and I, and then my kids. And it was the Thanksgiving after I separated. And so it was my first Thanksgiving as a single parent, and I was living with them. I moved in with them after about 6 months after my separation because I wanted to live near them because they were going to help me with my kids. And so I moved in with them, and we lived upstairs. And the picture is so funny because I have short hair because I did that because I was newly single and just kind of went wild.
Yeah, that's step like one, I think.
Yeah. I was clearly in the middle of a weight loss because my pants were too big on me.
That's step two.
My kids were there acting silly, and they were fun, and they were so young. And so this picture we got of all of us together, India is typical India. And, my sister is 6'1". I'm 5'10". We're tall people. And we're big people, and we're Vikings is what we look like. And India is standing there next to me and my kids, and she's got on this dress, because she always wears skirts and dresses, by the way. Like, we found one picture of her in jeans this weekend, and everybody in the room were confused. I have no memory of her ever wearing pants since she was a little bitty kid. She was shocked. But we found this one. She's in her typical dress. She dresses a lot like me, more hippie. Like if you took the country out of mine and made it a slightly more hippie, we dress the same. But she has this, cute little spaghetti strap dress on with a little sweater, and it's like a little tiny sweater button in the middle. And then she's got freaking knee-high socks on that are like bright turquoise with stripes. And she goes,
I love it.
"What am I wearing?" I said, "The same shit you're wearing right now. You still dress this way." She was like, "I know, that's why I said that. Where are those socks?"
Where did I put them?
She was like, "Those are some great socks." And so we're looking at it, and India's best friend, like from childhood, since like 6 years old, they met playing soccer together, still best friends, and they're 41. She came over to stay with us too and hang out with us. And so she's going through the pictures with us. We have pictures of her in there, And so she's going through the pictures, and she sees it. And she was like, "India, the only thing that's changed is you wear a little darker colors. But you're still, nothing has changed. Let's go." She brings her laundry to my dad's because she lives in a 100-year-old converted house into a townhomes. So she didn't have a washer and dryer. So anytime she comes, she brings loads of laundry. And so it's only dresses, and they're all hanging to dry. And I was like, I would kill for every one of these. Like, she has a great connection. But she's you is the moral of the story. She is you, and I
am her.
Yes, we really enjoyed each other's company all weekend, good. And I always enjoy. And lately, I've had time with both my sisters. It's really been nice to. I told you, I'm in a family bonding. Maybe menopause makes you. What is it when you're pregnant? You start nesting.
Yeah.
Okay, I feel like I'm nesting.
Yeah, you have a different stage when you go through menopause because you are, you're out of the circle of people who birth, bringing life into the world. And you're entering into your next phase, which is nurture, which is bringing up, sharing information, rearing the next generation.
Yes, I'm in the manager stage.
Yes.
No. But I feel nesty. I want to clean for my dad. I want to clean for my own family. Yeah. I truly have been enjoying it, and I want to organize, and I want to put pictures up, and I want to talk about the pictures, and I want to date the pictures.
But even doing all that, those service things, people see you do that. And that's how I got it. I got it from my mother. My mother did the exact same thing. That's how she brought peace and calm and happiness and joy into the household, is because she put love into it and she tended it. And I saw that was a good thing. And so now I do that. Yeah. I do the exact same. I clean to bring happiness to myself and as a service to the other people living in the home, and helps make a happy home. Yeah. I do that now. And that's a thing that you learn and I learned it with my mom when she went through the nesting stage. She was done giving birth, and then she was into the rearing phase of her life. life
Right.
where she helped raise us, and not just us, but the whole family, you know, and kept it as a whole, and, you know, make sure everybody was healthy and happy and, you know, welcome. And
I think that I got that from my stepmom in my adult life, because I was raised by my mom. She was definitely my primary parent. And, you know, my dad kind of dropped the ball for a minute there. And my stepmom, you know, she's going to do what my dad's going to do. But as we got it right and things got better as I got older, and things shifted and my mom was having health problems, we spent a lot more time with them, and my kids knew them better. And so a lot of the stuff that I'm doing now, I connect to her. Mm-hmm. And so just like you connect it to your mom. I mean, I learned my cleaning from my mom. I learned most of my cooking from my mom. I learned all that. But in association with a holiday, I'm going to make Cindy's stuffing. I'm going to make Cindy's cranberry sauce. I'm going to make Cindy's green bean casserole. I'm going to make Cindy's, you know, special salad that she would make. And it's because that's what my kids were raised on that, because we would go to grandmother Cindy's house, and that's what we would do. And so it's really cool to have that. And as India and I were talking the other day, and we were talking about, you know, all the different things, we were both like, isn't it crazy that looking back at her now that we're older, looking back at all the things she did, and she did for us, and she did for my children, and she did for my dad, what a glue she was to the family. Like, you knew it then, but now that she's gone, you fucking know it, because I'm doing the work. Mm-hmm. And it's funny because she would think about the little things. She always would make sure you felt special, and make sure that you felt included, and made sure that, you know, your picture's up. But like, that's your favorite cookie, I'm going to make sure we have that cookie here, you know? And so like, she has a cookie she made for me all the time, and India has no memory of this cookie. And that's her mom. And I realized she just made it when I was there. Yeah. Like, that was for me. That was my cookie. How crazy is that we have a completely different, you know. And she mentioned something her mom used to make for her that I was like, I have no idea what you're talking about. She never one time made that for me. She makes what she realizes you like, you know. And one of the things we were talking about is that when we used to go grocery shopping, or when it was come to the food for Christmas and for Thanksgiving, she never wanted to put that financial burden on me, because I was a single parent. And so even before I was a single parent, she knew Scott didn't provide a lot, you know? So she would buy all the food. And so she was like, what do you plan to make? And I'd tell her, she was like, I already bought that. She had not already bought that. I already bought all that. So you can come to the house and you can make it, but I bought the ingredients already. Well, I'm going to make it the same way she's going to make it. We use the same recipe. Yeah. And I'd get there and I would make it, but she would always buy the groceries. Yeah. And I knew she was lying about when she bought it. Mm-hmm. But she was being, you know, thoughtful without saying it.
And you let her do that for you, because that was the ways she was
I
showing
needed it
you
done,
love.
Yeah. And so now we go to my dad's house, and he did take me to dinner the other day, and he did pay for my dinner. But like, you know, and we bought his groceries one time because his card was having an issue. He had deactivated it somehow. But now it's like, no, it doesn't cross his mind that he should pay for anything. It doesn't cross his mind, and he's not being rude. It just doesn't cross his mind.
That's true. That's not his form of showing love. And so it's not that he wouldn't want to, but you don't even think about servicing somebody in that way. Yes. If yours is a different way. And so you can internalize it and be like, oh man, he's not going to pay for anything. But really it's not malice.
Well, and I thought to myself, oh shit. She was paying everything when she was my age. It's my fucking turn, dude.
It really is.
It's my turn, you know, and it's my kids. I'm the matriarch, as you'll put it. Yep. And so I was like, I'm actually okay with the fact that I'm paying for all this, because it's my turn.
And you've earned it.
Yeah. And so, and do I cook all of it? Yes, I do. I am going to have, like, Zaylee, I'm pre-preparing this week. So, like, I've already done a few prep steps that you need to do ahead of time. And I'm working on maybe 2 dishes a day that I pre-prepare what I can, the things that you can freeze and then thaw and then stick in the oven or whatever. So, like, my stuffing and that kind of stuff. And so I've been working on that. And so Zaylee's my only kid that really likes to, well, Zane does. Zane, but he's not here yet, but he's coming this week. But Zaylee likes to cook with me. She enjoys it. So I invited her to come over, and throughout the week, we're going to, you know, prepare Thanksgiving throughout the week. So again, new memories, new, cool things to do.
That's exciting that you got the whole week off.
I know.
How'd you spend that?
Well, again, this goes back to tradition. This is my last year that the law has anything to do with when my children visit me, because my son is a senior and he's about to be 18. But legally, I get my kid, my minor children, which is down to one, every other holiday. Mm-hmm. And so I have always taken off, since I've been out of retail, I have always taken off the week I have my kids. So if I have them Thanksgiving, I take the whole week off, and I take off minimal whatever week I did not have them, because what's the point, Mm-hmm. And we would do a late Christmas or whatever the case is. Well, this is my last legal holiday. I feel confident I will have them every holiday the rest of their lives, but
I feel confident of that too.
But that's why I took it off. And again, it goes back to Cindy, because I was just talking about
Thanks,
this.
Cindy.
I mean, damn, she was amazing. But she worked for Aetna Insurance for 25 years-ish, and so she had a ridiculous amount of PTO time. And so she would take off the week of Thanksgiving, and then she'd usually go back to work for 1 week, and then she would take off the rest of December, because she had so much PTO, because she loved to cook and shop and decorate the house and make it smell good and all the.
So she needed all her time.
Yes, and so that's what I kind of do, is I try to give my kids that same feeling, but only one. I have to pick one or the other, and it's fair at work, because whoever I work with gets the other one.
Yeah.
And I've just happened to never run into anyone else that has the same predicament, so they usually don't care which one, as long as I'm consistent. Mm-hmm. And I put that damn request in January 1st.
It is in. Ain't nobody messing with that.
Yes. So next year I'll have them for both. So I've already thought about this. And so next year I'm going to have to pick, and I'm just going to stay consistent with the every other. Mm-hmm. And the other one will just be a less to do, less a big deal. Yeah. Still good, So that's how I did it.
I love that. I have the whole week off too, but it's because I'm self-employed.
Yeah.
Basically.
Do you do anything like, is there anything that you're going to do with Dante? Is he going to go with you?
Yeah.
Or?
So it was kind of up in the air for a while, because he wasn't sure if he was going to get off of work, because he's a crane operator. So he has crazy hours.
Yeah.
But he thinks that he's supposed to have Thursday and Friday off, which I'm like, wow, how'd you do that? But
That's
I'm happy for
crazy.
him. So he's going to go out to the farm, and as long as he doesn't get called into any kind of like emergency situation, he'll be out at the farm, and then he'll have. We'll be back in time for him to, because his parents, like his mom and them, will get together, but they go all through the evening. So we'll get in town in time to go over there, and then he has all Friday, so he's gonna spend Friday with his family and his kids, because they're off of school. And so yeah.
Wait, I will tell you that Rick, for his family thing, he was asked to bring the drinks.
That's always my favorite thing.
I just laughed.
I just take that upon myself.
He did not even tell me. I said, let me guess, you were asked to bring the drinks? And he was like, yes. I thought it was so funny.
Yeah, I'm bringing champagne, and I'm going to get pineapple sherbet, because I want to I want to do those together. Oh, yes. I think that they will be perfect.
That's how, it's like that punch.
Mm-hmm. I want pineapple sherbet.
Put a little ginger ale in there. It'll be really
and
good.
Champagne. Oh my gosh, I'm so excited.
Yeah, that sounds delicious. That sounds delicious. Yeah, you know what? I was thinking about that today, because we went grocery shopping yesterday. Rick and I did, for our weekly grocery shopping, and I was like, I didn't even have my list, so I was like, and that's a pretty important list.
Yeah, it is.
Although I have freeballed it the last 2 years and did pretty good, and and Rick pays for our groceries. That's his part of the bills, or part of his part of the bills, and so I don't want to overdo it on him, because I didn't even know he was coming. He had yet to mention at this point that he was coming. And so I was like, I'm going to get a few things for my holiday list that in years past I sometimes ran into problems finding. So let me just get them if they have them. He was like, yeah, no problem. You can get the whole list. I was like, no, it's okay. So I got quite a few things that I've run out in the past. And then I went back this morning and I spent another $140. And I didn't even have to pay for the meats, because I got a free turkey from a friend and a free ham from Rick's friend.
Nice.
And so I'm like, God, that's a lot of sides for just my children.
Yeah.
But we love Thanksgiving for us, man. I go all out. I throw down.
It is all about the sides for me. Our family is doing a fish boil, like a seafood boil. Because we're also going to have traditional food as well. So there'll be ham and turkey and sides, but last year they did a fish boil and everybody loved it so much because we do such a big thing on Christmas.
Oh,
so
yeah.
there's like over, and then everybody's usually has a second Thanksgiving they're going to as well.
True, yeah.
So we're doing a seafood boil. So I'm excited about that because I missed last year family Thanksgiving. I spent Thanksgiving with Dante's family last year. So
okay,
this
that's right.
year I'm with my family, so I'm glad that they're doing the seafood boil again because I missed out on it, so I'm pretty excited about that.
See, we like it for both meals, but I will cook randomly roasted chicken with dressing in June. And Rick makes fun of it. I'll make the whole fucking thing. I'll make
Man, I love
sweet pea
Thanksgiving
casserole with
dinner,
it.
man. I love it.
Rick and Madison, the first time I did it, it was like in the spring after they had moved out. Like, it might have been May. They had moved. He had moved in. And they were like, "What's for dinner?" And I was like, "Oh," and I don't do turkey. I'll do roasted chicken instead. But I was like, I got roasted chicken with dressing and yams and green bean casserole. And they were like, "What? It's May. It's May, Zeta." I was like, why should I wait?
Right? I can eat that any time in the year.
Yeah, I mean, I don't make as big as servings of it. I don't go all. It's not as big an ordeal. I make a weekday version of it, but it's still gonna be homemade.
I like the Thanksgiving in a sandwich. I love that.
Oh my God, I love it so much. I've had this conversation. Have I had it with you? Are you one of them?
I don't know.
I've had this conversation with like 6 people over the last week. I like a good Thanksgiving sandwich. But there's a place in Houston, and there is one by my dad's house in North Dallas. So apparently they're in Dallas too, called Kolache Factory, and they make the Texas type of kolaches. But they make a Thanksgiving one, and it has turkey, stuffing, and cranberry sauce in it.
That sounds amazing.
It is so wonderful.
I'm so hungry right now.
It's all we talked about.
I'm so hungry.
I'm so sorry.
I came over to Zeta's house this morning to record, and I have not eaten yet.
I'm sorry.
All this Thanksgiving talk is really getting to me.
Maybe we can just get lunch. But yeah, I'm sorry to beat down the. But it's Thanksgiving. That's what it's about.
I love it.
That and football. Which I hate football, but it's that and football.
Here we go.
So, which is my dad. That's the other reason he can't come to my house for Thanksgiving, because he needs to watch football, and I don't have cable.
It's important. It's an important part of it.
He got a new internet company or cable company this last week, and he can't figure out the channels completely. And so yesterday he could only watch, or Saturday he could only watch like 5 games, and he wanted to watch like 8 games, and he couldn't quite figure out what channels they were on and where the channels were, and he was losing his mind.
Bless his heart.
The man is obsessed with football. Obsessed. So,
gosh.
Yeah, what are you going to do? But
I don't know. Oh, another thing is, when I was at my aunt's house, we were, because she's a cooker, and that's one of the people that I loved to watch growing up cook was my Aunt Jessica, because everybody in my family cooks. So all of my aunts cook, and all my uncles too. It's crazy.
Yeah.
I eat good. Okay. There's a reason that I look the way I look. Okay. I was fed well.
Yeah.
My entire
Same.
life. There was no famine.
Yeah.
No famine season.
No, you never went to that.
We were always doing real good. Okay. So, but we were I was helping her cook because she'll cook every night. And then one night she's like, you know what? I think I have all the ingredients to make some cookies. Y'all want to make some cookies? And I was like, yeah, cookies. And I was like, okay. So we're getting all the stuff out. And I asked her, I was like, is there a certain recipe that, do you have a recipe? And because we didn't make it one night that I was there, because I was like, oh, well, I don't have a recipe though. So I guess we can make it however we want. And my aunt was like, hold on, I'm going to give you the family recipe. And I was like,
what?
I was like, what? Really? I was like, I feel so honored right now. She's like, okay, I'm going to trust this to you. I'm going to give it to you. I was like, okay. She walks over to the counter and gets out the Nestle Toll House cookie. And it is the cookie recipe on the back of the Toll House chocolate chips.
Shut up.
I was like, that's not hiding in plain sight, I don't know what is.
That is fun. I had a listener, I put on Facebook this morning or yesterday. I said, does anyone have a really good buttermilk or chess pie recipe? I want to try someone's homemade version. Because I didn't actually grow up on buttermilk pie. I just discovered it as an adult and love it. So I don't have any family recipe for it. So one of our listeners sent me one that she said at work, this lady had won the work pie contest with it, and that everybody lost their minds over it. And then she made it, and everybody lost their minds over it. So I am making her buttermilk. And so I will let y'all know how it goes. And let me put a disclaimer out there for her. because I can't bake very well. I can make cakes, but I'm not good at pies. But I prefer eating pies. My whole family prefers pies.
I like pies too.
Which tells you how many times I've tried it and they've failed still. So like I bought my pecan pie because I give the fuck up. It pisses me off when it doesn't turn out.
Yeah.
And I feel like it doesn't matter what I do. It's either perfect or it's absolutely horrible. And I cannot risk horrible pecan pie on Thanksgiving.
Yeah.
So I've given up on trying that. So I bought that one. But I'm going to make a pumpkin pie, which I've conquered before. But this will be my new endeavor, and I will let y'all know how it goes. And if it doesn't work out, it's definitely not the listener's fault. That's what I'm trying to say. I can cook. I can throw down cooking, but I am not a baker. So we're going to pray for me on this one.
I will be praying for you, for sure.
So I know. All right, what else you got? Anything else on Thanksgiving?
Is there anything else that you would like to talk about what makes it feel like the holidays for you? So like what kind of traditions or what kind of things really bring it home for the holidays?
Christmas movies on Thanksgiving. I like to watch Christmas movies to like start out the holiday.
Yeah.
My favorite one, I would say, would be A Christmas Story.
Yeah.
And then the next one would be Home Alone. And we watch those two every year. And we had a female dog named Kevin at one point after the Home Alone movie. And so that's one.
I have been making myself not listen to any Christmas music or watch any Christmas movies yet. I'm waiting until Thanksgiving.
Till Thanksgiving.
Yeah, I'm being like that person.
Yeah. Well, and I normally am that person. Like Thanksgiving, I just go big, and that's when we start. And so the other thing that we do that's a big tradition for us, that this is a tradition I started with my kids after my divorce, and it's one of the kids' favorites, is watching the Christmas movies, and it's usually at the end of the night. And then we break out all the decorations and start decorating.
Oh, that's so sweet.
And we do it together, and we do hot chocolate, and we do cookies. And sometimes it's not the same night. Sometimes it's just the same week, depending on what we're doing for that Thanksgiving. But every kid has to be available. We want every kid there that can be there. So, and I always buy a live tree. So if the live tree is not available, we'll do, because sometimes they're not out yet.
Yeah.
Then we'll do everything else. And we do have some small fake trees. We'll put up whatever. But we do all the other decorating part. And I just learned this year that my aesthetic for Christmas is now called tacky Christmas.
Oh, really?
Yeah, I didn't. Little did I know.
Who decided that?
Well, I think Gen Z.
Oh, okay.
And
they decide everything. Apparently.
I know, apparently. Which okay, whatever. And but I laughed because in the last few years, this whole beige thing is a new movement. Like so not me. Fuck that. I can remember whenever a friend of mine got married when we were like 22, 23. And a guy friend of mine, and he invited us to the wedding, and I went to pick out something off their registry, and absolutely everything on the registry was white or beige. And this is like, I don't know, 1996, 97. And I was like, what is wrong with these people? Why do they, it looks pretty. I didn't understand it at that age, because they were ahead of their time, I guess.
Yeah.
And I don't mind it in people's homes. It's not my taste. Like, I think it looks pretty though. It's just not my taste. But I'm talking a Christmas tree that's beige. Like they'll get a white Christmas tree and only decorate it with like neutral tones.
Yeah.
And so every time I'd see that, I was like, that's not fun for the kids, And I know somebody that doesn't allow their kids to decorate their tree. Like they want it to be perfect. So the mom does it, is an older mom, and doesn't let anyone, and that they don't hang up like their kids' tree ornaments and stuff. And which is fine, whatever is your tradition, but that's just not mine. And so that's a big part of my kids' thing is every year we buy an ornament. Each of us buy our own ornament that reflects our year, and it can be as funny. It can be a Ford sign if you got a Ford that year and you loved it, or it could be Star Wars because you were obsessed with Star Wars that year. And so we've been doing this for years. So we have all stages of the kids' ornaments, and that's when we decorate the tree. We talk about the ornaments, and we talk about the memories, and we do that kind of stuff. Well, I'm scrolling through TikTok, and someone said this year, I decided they had done the beige the last 2 years. And as a young mom, and she goes, but now my kid's making homemade stuff, and I want to put it up. I want to decorate it. So I've decided to go with the tacky look. And I thought she was joking because she started showing pictures of like houses that look like mine, and so I thought she was joking, just like, oh, the tacky, because the other is so opposite. But then I start reading everybody's comments, and they're like, yeah, once I went with the tacky aesthetic, I never could go back. I appreciate it now. And I was like, oh, this is a real term.
It's only real if you if you accept it. Okay,
I own it. I like it. I was like, okay, Peg Bundy in the house. Okay.
Whatever, call me tacky. I don't care.
Yeah,
I've been called worse.
Yeah. So I think the Christmas tree ornaments, the decorating, and the Christmas movies, and obviously food, and that's
food's a big one for me.
yeah. And you know what's funny is we keep going back to food, but it's Thanksgiving.
I'm so hungry.
But what's a funny thing to me is that my stepmom used to make this salad, and it was made with broken up dried ramen noodle. Like if you bought ramen noodle and took the packet out and you broke it up, and it's like an Asian salad, and it's got
I've had it before.
And
it's delicious.
It's delicious, right? And so she would always make I'm so sorry. But she would always make this, and it was so delicious, and it was a favorite of everybody's. And then after Zoll died, my niece said, you know what, she asked me if I had a recipe of something her dad used to make. And I said, yeah, I've got it. I said, I wish I had the recipe for this. She goes, oh, I have that recipe because he used to have me make it for him. She goes, and I have the Cindy's ramen salad recipe. I was like, you do? Because they never spent Thanksgiving with us. They lived so far away. I was like, how did you get that? Remember that one year we came for Christmas? She made it. And I was like, I do remember that year. I was like, you were tiny. And I found pictures of it just the other day. But I was like, you were tiny. She goes, yeah, well, Dad loved it. And he got the recipe from Cindy. And my mom made it every year.
That is so
Cindy's
crazy.
recipe made it into their house. Here's the funnier part.
That.
Where did they get the recipe? Their next door neighbor of 30 years, which the guy is Hispanic, the woman is Asian. And this was the wife's recipe. And Cindy had it at their house one time and loved it and asked for the recipe. And then she started making it, right? So the other day I go to my dad's house, and the next door neighbor and his now adult son, who wasn't even born when they moved into that house, came over, and they were moving all my dad's plants for him into the garage because they're so big, and I'm allergic to one of them. So they moved all of those over, and I get over there, and they were like giving us their phone number, and he was like, Zeta, if you need anything, because he's been real helpful with my dad. They're great people. And he was like, if you need anything, just call me. If anything happens and I need to call you, I've got your number. I said, there is something I need. And he was like, what? And I was like, I need that salad recipe, please. And I have it from my niece, but I wanted to see if it was accurate.
Yeah.
And he was like, what are you talking about? What ramen salad recipe? And I told him about it. He was like, I have no memory of that. I was like,
oh my God.
I was like, do you understand that salad is a legend in this family?
You need to be educated.
And for them, it was just another salad.
Yeah, it was just one of her concoctions she came up,
Isn't that funny?
Yeah.
I was like, oh my God, that's ridiculous. He laughed too. He goes, I cannot believe you remember a salad from 30 years ago. I said, Cindy made it every holiday.
Yeah, it was a staple.
Like when she died, we were like, oh no, what will we do without the salad? Because I didn't know my brother had the recipe. So we thought the recipe died with Cindy.
Aww.
And it did not.
It did not.
And then my sister told me the other day when we were talking about food and she said that her mom made her a recipe book of all her favorite things, including all her favorite snacks. And that's when we were talking about that one thing I'd never heard of. And India has been a vegetarian for 20 years, right? So I said, is it all vegetarian stuff? Which my stepmom, she was a hippie too, so she could make some vegetarian stuff. I said, was it all vegetarian stuff? She goes, no. She made all this meat stuff thinking I would change my mind one day. And she goes, I said, is the Moroccan chicken in there? She was like, yes. I was like, give it to me. Because that was the other one I was worried about.
Well, I definitely want this the ramen recipe because I've had a version of that before, and I thought the same thing. And I'm sad that I don't have a recipe for it because it's so good.
I will send it to you. I had to hit my niece up and be like, "Girl, send that over here," because he didn't know if his wife has it.
Hook me up.
Isn't that insane? I was like, "That's so funny," but that's one of our little.
I love traditions, man.
I do too.
They can just come out of anywhere too.
They
never
can.
Know.
Yeah. Yeah. Absolutely. And that's a little random salad. I just found it so funny. My family on my mom's side does something for Thanksgiving. They don't do it every year, but they do it every few years, and it is completely politically incorrect. But I'm gonna tell y'all anyways.
Please do.
And this is, my mom's mom was a twin, so it's Jerry and Terry are the twins, the Simpson twins. And so my grandmother was Cherry. And so Jerry has a bunch of kids that were they might as well be my first cousins. We're all really close. And if they can all get together for Thanksgiving, and it flips from year to year, they dress as Indians and pilgrims, and the families flip from year to year. It started before it became politically, I don't know. I got no excuse, y'all.
We have no excuses.
I don't go there. I spend it with my dad, so you can't blame me. But I find it hilarious that they do it because I'm like, my family is so over the top. They will find any excuse for a party or to dress up. Mm-hmm. And so I have a picture of my uncle when he's probably, I'm going to guess he's 48. 49, somewhere around there. And he's a good-looking man. My mom's family is very good-looking people. He's a very good-looking man to this day. And my mom's in the picture with him, and she's dressed like an Indian, and with her blonde hair, like, oh, God bless us. It's with admiration, though. They were not making fun. They truly love the stories.
Yes.
And they pick the Indian side every time. Yeah. I will put that out there. But my uncle is in like a loincloth with no shirt.
Where does one get a loincloth?
He made it.
I love that.
He made it. Which means he walked around Thanksgiving all day in basically a loincloth in his late 40s.
That is what I aspire to right
I
there.
mean, it is what it is.
I'm going to have to learn how to make my own loincloth.
I know. Yeah, you're 2 steps from it, to be honest. 2 steps. And my mom was dressed in like this leather dress.
I just got me a precision Skinner the other day.
I noticed
so,
you were...
I haven't got to use it yet, so I think we're going to make this happen.
Well, and none of these people are in costumes they bought. They've all made their costumes, and they're like legit. Like they're not trying to look like they made it at home. Like these are legit.
Yeah.
And but my mom in her picture is holding like this wooden staff that she has, and it's just basically a really cool piece of wood with like, it looks like a staff though.
Yeah.
That she found. I mean, you can tell she didn't buy it. She found it.
Yeah.
So when you go downstairs, look to the right of the dresser, and you will see the same staff hanging on my wall, next to a picture of her holding it in her Indian garb.
I love it. We're going to have to take a picture of that.
It's ridiculous. God bless her. That's
what I'm going to do this Thanksgiving. I'm going to show up as an Indian to my family.
You could pull it off much better than me.
I would have loved to have done it this past.
It would be so funny.
So this past weekend,
don't say a word.
My Hispanic side of the family had their family Thanksgiving, but I wasn't able to make it because I got a little 48-hour bug, and they have lots of little kids and everything. I was not about to try to get anybody sick and go, but they had it out at Getzendaner, which is where they had our family reunion this year too, because I have a big Mexican side of the family too. If you think the Warner side of my family is big, go to the Garcia side of my family. Oh my God. We have to have it at the park. There's no other place. Even a small little get together is literally a family reunion. So, but I didn't get to make it. So that would have been perfect to show up to the park in my, but it's okay.
I think it's funnier if you show up though to your mom's because they're all white pretty much.
But I have Native in my family on both sides.
Well, you could call them pilgrims all day. Yeah. You could be in character all day long.
I really could. I think I'm going to make it happen.
If you want to borrow my... I'm afraid you'll lose it. You're bad at losing things.
I really am.
Yeah, so you can't have the staff. Otherwise, I'd lend it to you.
That's okay. I'll make my own.
That's really funny, though. That's really funny. Yeah. So, what are you going to do?
I'm about to start a new tradition.
Is there a baby? It'd be really funny if you got a baby and dressed it as a pilgrim to surprise them with a baby pilgrim costume. Just one baby. Just pick one.
We have many, actually.
Yeah, there's many to choose from.
Yes, there are.
That's hilarious. I love it. Okay, so as far as like other stuff on it, I guess, we'll catch up on where we are when it's all said and done. But that's all.
Yeah.
I'm cooking and cleaning.
I love that. I love that for you and for me. So this week, I want to talk about, because we kind of just went straight into Thanksgiving. So I have just a little bit of catching up. Not much, because my week this past week was very similar to weeks before. I had McKenna watch on Tuesday night, and this was our 3rd week in a row of going out together to karaoke. Is her new absolute favorite thing. And I was like, I totally understand, girl. I get you.
Yeah.
It's my favorite thing too. But it was a good night. She had another just magical, this girl, I love it for her. I love that she's just blossoming and making friends.
Yeah.
And she's not, socially awkward or anything like that, because this is her first real into social, going out that she's been able to do.
Yeah.
And so she just blows me away. She's so confident in making friends. There's this guy there that, he's a regular as well. And so he's been there every week. And so she's like, I think I want to ask him to dance. And I was like, okay, go do it. And she did. And he did. And so they danced. And I was like, oh my gosh, she amazes me. Like, she's had the best night. And it was so much fun.
Yeah.
So but I wanted to share one little thing from that because it kind of stuck out in my head. Because this guy was there. And he, at one point, the first time I saw him, like, he came in to, like, get a drink. And then, like, he was walking back out. And I'm sitting in between Terry and McKenna. And he comes up to and says, I really like your dress. And I said, oh, thank you. You know, just take the compliment. And he just walks off. And, of course, McKenna's like, I was like, I had to make sure she didn't get her knife out. She didn't. She's doing good.
I forgot about that.
But they're both, like, on watch. Obviously, anybody that talks to me, like, my 2 little guard dogs go off.
Right, yeah.
So then he comes back in later and, like, you know, doesn't say anything this time, you know, just kind of walks by. But then later on in the night, he comes in and he has a little dog in his hand. I was like, oh, okay, is this your play? Like, you know, guys carrying around dogs. Of course, everybody wants to see the dog. Everyone,
Yes.
oh my gosh,
I've
so
seen
cute.
this done before in Alice,
I love
to be
it.
honest
It's
with
so
you.
cute. Like, can I pet the dog? He goes around, you know, everybody does this little thing. And then, so he comes over, and McKenna loves dogs, loves
Right.
them. So, of course, she also
All
is,
over it.
Can I pet the dog? And then Shelly and Tess come over. Like, you know, it was a cute little dog.
It's like that little thing. Let me pet that dog.
Pet that dog.
Yeah.
And so I'm watching, you know, I'm smiling. I'm like, ah. And so then he like comes to me and stops.
And you're like, I'm not a dog
stops in front of
person.
me, and I'm just smiling at him. And he's like, do you want to pet the dog? And I was like, oh no, thank you. That's a very cute dog though. And then he gives me this look of confusion. It's like, why?
Why don't you want to pet my dog?
Like he's offended that I don't want to pet his dog. And I'm like, no, I don't pet things. And he looks me up and down and says, yeah, I can see why.
What does that mean?
I don't know. I was thinking the same thing. I didn't even have a rebuttal because I was like, what does that mean? But then he goes, well, I pet things. And then he walks off and I'm like, oh, exactly. I'm like, why did you have to take it there?
You know, I think I know exactly who you're talking about because on Tuesday when I went to record with Al and Amy, a guy came in with a dog and like I was talking to like 4 of our friends and they all went outside to pet the dog.
Yeah.
And I was like, oh, I'm tabbing out.
Yeah.
I'm not interested in petting somebody's dog.
I know. It's a ploy.
It is
Obviously.
a ploy. I've seen it done in
That's
there by
what
somebody else too though.
I know. And that's why I get it. I do because I understand men. Well, some men.
Right.
I understand it. You want to walk around. You want everybody to pet your dog.
Yeah, that's what they want, pets.
That's fine. I don't pet things.
Yeah.
And so that's exactly what I'm letting you know. I'm not going to pet your dog. I'm not going to pet you.
Yeah.
I'm not going to do none of the above.
None of the
So
petting.
keep on walking, sweetheart.
Yeah, that's so funny.
That happens. Like people will get offended. Like, why are you going to be offended that I don't want to pet your dog?
Right.
Calm down.
You know, my dad right now with his new bonus dog, because, you know, he went out and got a second dog, not the other one died. And these 2 dogs this weekend, I saw them. They are on a showdown on who can get Dad's lap. And the new dog is the girl, Ginger. Mm-hmm. And she is not afraid. And she looks just like him. She's just a little chubbier. They're identical dogs. They could be twins. I keep all weekend long. I was like, it's like looking at the twins on The Shining in the dog form, because they're both pissed.
Yeah.
And so the boy dog will jump down to go get a drink or something, or go outside to go to the bathroom, and then the girl dog will jump up and get in his lap, and then the boy dog comes back in and is like, what the fuck? Because he's used to being spoiled. He's never. Yeah. He wouldn't. The cat that died used to be the lap cat until the dog arrived and kicked the cat out. So he thought, this is my spot now, and now the girl's like, no, fuck, this is my spot. So now the boy dog that has always hated my sister and I and will nothing to do with us is suddenly jumping in our lap trying to get us to pet. I'm like, nah, bitch, no. No, you rejected me for 10 years.
Now you have to settle for me? No.
Yes. And then growled at me when I tried to hug my dad goodbye, like protective of my dad. And now you want me to pet, rolling over so I'll pet its belly. I'm like, who are you?
Yeah.
They're like men.
You switched up real quick there. And you got dethroned.
I have been telling people for years, when I go to someone's house and their dog's all over and they want to jump on you and they want you to pet them, I always tell them, I don't pet dogs. They're just like men and they want you to just keep doing it. They won't leave you alone.
They will not leave you
alone.
alone.
You pet them one time and for 20 years they're going to keep trying to get you to pet them.
Right.
And so I won't pet you.
Nope.
But the little girl dog the first day was so sad because they had dropped her off from her home. Like She was waiting for her family to show back up, and they weren't. And then she wanted that lap. She could see. My dad's lap is a beacon to all small animals. Not kidding. There is always a fucking animal in this lap with this big-ass man, this big linebacker. And so then that showed it. And so then the dog's looking at me sad, and the dog wouldn't come to me. It was scared. Didn't know what to do. It wanted the lap, and it wasn't mine. It didn't want my lap. And it just gotten there. So it didn't know I didn't live there. Like, it had gotten there right before, an hour before I did. So I'm like, so then this week, I did pet it a few times, and I felt bad for it, so I was being sweet to it. And but it didn't really want a lot of attention because it was upset. Well, now it's like every time it saw the other dog get my attention, it would run over there and be like, and it was just like
hey, this is my bitch.
I was like, Dad, I said, where are they sleeping? Because that little dog sleeps with the boy sleeps with my dad, and the other animals would not. He goes, they fight over the same spot every night. Every night. The dog has met his match. He's been such a dick to my sister and I over the years, and my kids, that everybody thinks it's hilarious that this dog is coming in and shaking some shit up in the house. The hierarchy has been shaken.
That's not good.
No, it's really funny.
I'm going to go to war.
Yeah. And the old dog's probably like, are they putting me down too? What the fuck's going on? I already put two down.
Am I being replaced?
Am I
next?
What
this is?
Yeah. But yeah, and going through the pictures on my little catching up going, oh wait, we got to finish yours. But we're going through the pictures at my dad's house, how many pictures of cats there are. We're like, what cat is that? Oh my God, that's Leroy. My dad hasn't had Leroy since like 1978. We have pictures of the cat from 1978.
We will remember you, Leroy.
I did. As soon as I saw it, I go, oh, that's Leroy.
Oh, Leroy. As long as you're never forgotten, you will always stay with
Leroy is not forgotten, not at all. We are definitely connected with Leroy.
I love that.
Anyway, anything else that you want to catch up on?
We're good. I'm all caught up, and I'm rearing to go for this week.
All right. Well, same. I got a lot to do, but I'm looking forward to it.
Yeah, me too.
Yay week vacation.
Happy Thanksgiving, everybody.
Happy Thanksgiving. Well, that's all for today. Thank you for joining us. Maybe come back next week and bring a friend.
Yeah. And remember, there's always 3 sides to every story.
2 sides and the truth.
Bye.
Bye, y'all.